does it make sense because he knows how important his influence is, and especially with the hottest cats and like these cats is they nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, but the thing is, you can hear it coming out of them. Like it's like they still fighting to be appreciated. You know what I mean? Even after the nominee, it's like they still fighting to be appreciated, and he know how important that is. He does. You don't hop on Big Sean's album just because, like, you knew how important that was to him.
Yeah.
In that cipher.
Yeah, for sure. I want to offer a counter. Let me first say I agree with both of you guys, but let me offer a counterpoint to this. And this is just as someone who's a huge Eminem fan. So Eminem's influence and him being too hands-on was almost the downfall of Slaughterhouse because they tried to sound too commercial, and that was almost laid at the feet of M and his people being too hands-on. Griselda's album, people applauded because they stayed gritty. They didn't seem like they were trying to chase commercial success. We said it, I think, here when we reviewed the album. So maybe M's staying hands off for Griselda, maybe it's because he knows for their fan base and the people who likes their music, there's nothing he can do.
But are they asking him to have his hands in it or just support it?
True.
Yeah. This joint right here is going out to everybody getting money.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of The Breaks Radio. I am one of your hosts, CEO Haize, and I am joined by the team, the crew. We got Miss Yum herself in the building. Miss Mary Almonte is here. What's going on?
What's up?
We also got BTG, Mr. Baylor the Great.
Hey, man, look, it's a lot of championships floating around, so we're happy. Like, Los Angeles is... No, on a serious note, I know I'd like to be petty when we win, but we needed these 2 wins. We really did for the city. So, we happy over here right now.
Yeah, this year started
I
off
feel that.
really
We can't
strange.
even be mad at you.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. I think we said it too, like, after the whole Kobe thing and Nip recently, like, you guys have been hurting. So, it's good that you guys got several wins.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
Definitely. Well, let's get into the shit. Let's get into the fuckery. First bit of news that we have: DC Young Fly and the rest of the 85 South show has said they are not going to be part of the new season of Wildin' Out as long as Nick Cannon is not a part of it. Now, we don't see a lot of loyalty in this game because most of the time people are about their checks. What do you guys think about them stepping out of Wildin' Out if Nick isn't going to be involved in it?
I think that's dope. I think that's dope news right there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because, Nick has a great eye for talent, for one, and he's seen those cats, he put them along, and he fed them. And, like DC said in the interview, he was like, look, I know these corporations don't love me. They don't like me. They just, they just see what I could do for them. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, that's dope, man. That's true loyalty right there.
For sure.
I agree. I feel like we rarely see this kind of loyalty, so I applaud them. I still do think that Nick Cannon was wildin'. He was wildin' out for going off the deep end with that interview. But I definitely think it's dope that his crew is behind him. So hats off to them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We always see, like, people say loyalty, but then when it comes time to cash those checks, they're wherever the checks are. And I think also it does bode well for them that Nick is going to be creating his own thing, right, with Revolt. So I'm sure they're going to have a slot over there. So they're going to still get their money. It's just good to see people rock with the person who put them on. So that's always a good thing.
Yep.
All right, let's move into the next one. So our boy Kendrick, I think, has been on our list like the last 3 weeks, but he's on here again. He signed a new publishing deal with Universal Music. Publishing deals, they don't really affect, like, as far as I know, like the distribution and as far as album releases or whatever, but it seems like Kendrick is getting his ducks in a row. But what do you guys think about Kendrick signing a new publishing deal? Mary, I'll come to you first on here.
I feel like what's really going to be the difference for us? Do you know? Because if not, then where's the album? I'm waiting for that.
That's all it boils down to.
Us quicker, then cool.
Fair enough, Baylor.
Well, at the end of the day, if he signed a deal, we could be looking. We're definitely looking forward to some type of content.
Mm-hmm.
So what content is it? We're either going to finally get that album, or he might have an eye for talent, and I'll be into that as well.
Mm. I mean, Kendrick did. He built his own company about a year ago, and people started thinking asking if he was going to be leaving TDE. So maybe this, who knows? Like Kendrick, I think we're going to start seeing the business side of Kendrick in between. Whenever this album drops, in between that and the next one, is we're going to see Kendrick in his business bag real heavy. At least I hope so, because Kendrick is, he's somebody who his name carries weight in the game, and just by him co-signing anybody, it's going to at least bring a new level of attention to them. So I guess we'll see how that continues to go and everything. It's funny because Reason recently he had an interview and told the story about how he almost nailed a Kendrick Lamar feature, which is weird because they're on the same label, but Kendrick's name carries weight. And at the end of the day, if this does bring us closer to the album, if this is getting everything in a row for the album to come out, let's get to the fucking music. That's all I got to say. Can we please get some fucking music?
I totally agree. You know what? But after last night and after a couple of weeks ago, it's like, all right, we understand if you take your time now. Prior to that, I'm like, yo, I need that ASAP.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I need that album still though. I need that album heavy. But let's move on. Next one. So this one is super fucking interesting, right? And I thought it was, so I saw it on Twitter like one day when I was just scrolling through. I looked at it, thought it was like a joke, went about my business. But Peter Gunz is the new host of Cheaters. Little did I even know that Cheaters still was releasing new episodes. But now Pete Gunz is the fucking host. Is the king cheater himself. I guess he knows how to catch him. I will guess. Mary, what do you think about this?
I actually think it's very fitting. It takes one to know one, right? But let me not clown Peter Gunz. I actually was on a panel with him recently on
I saw that.
Everett's,
Yeah,
Street Soldier show, and it was actually really emotional. And I got to kind of see an emotional side of him where he was talking with the topic that we were talking about was having the talk with your kids, about racism and how to like escape death if you have a run-in with cops and stuff. And he was talking about how, let me just say this. He seems like a very dedicated parent. So that to me, my hat goes off, so, but yes, it is kind of notorious that he has been caught out there quite a few times and, has a multi-baby mama situation. So yeah, I do feel like he is we even got into like the responsibility of black men and their treatment of black women. And he definitely seemed like remorseful and like he's learned his lesson and wants to kind of pay it forward moving forward. So I'm curious to see how that gets parlayed into this role that he's in now.
Good points.
Yeah.
Baylor?
I mean, I guess it's a dope idea. I mean, I'm gonna watch it now. I mean, it's I mean, for real though, it's like you just said, you didn't even know they had, updated episodes.
No idea. None.
But you know what though, the one thing that they will do is they'll have clips on IG or Twitter and stuff like that, and we will actually watch those clips, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now we're really going to watch those clips because one thing that he's going to provide is flavor. So it's going to have some style to this, cracking this cheater. Yeah, we're going to watch it. It's dope. I don't see nothing bad about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see people get their checks whatever way they can, right? For one, it definitely is going to breed a new audience to the show. So, that's going to be beneficial that way. It's just, I mean, it seems on brand. I know one thing though. I highly doubt he's ever going to get stabbed for the show like Joey Greco did, though.
Oh, absolutely not. if anybody's going to get stabbed, it's definitely going to be the cheater he catch. You know what I mean? And it just might be. It's a high possibility that it's him.
Oh, man, that's hilarious, man. But, yeah, I'll definitely be looking out. I don't know when it premieres, but whenever it does, I'm there. I got to watch it. Next one. This one isn't as positive as news. So, Westside Gunn who had an album come out. He signed to Shady. He's been signed to Shady. He's locked under a deal for them for at least I think I read for 3 more years. And he saw Eminem retweeted Alchemist's album, and which he did not do for West Side Gun's album. I don't even know if he did it for Griselda's album. And so there was a comment on that West Side Gun commented on. He said, and this is before, so a couple of months ago, he also said that he wonders if Shady Records knows that Griselda got nominated for Best Group. So like, it's clearly the thing is like with Shady Records, their name is Shady Records, but M has never proven that he knows how to run a record label and their artists. 50 Cent was a flash in the pit. He got lucky with that shit with 50 Cent. And then almost the whole label rode the wave after 50 got his buzz. You know, Obi had a platinum album. Like people who had no business getting platinum albums did from Shady Records, mainly because of 50 Cent and Eminem were at the top of the game at one point in time. What do you think this says about M's ability to like pay attention to his artists, if any, or maybe we're looking too much into it? Mary, I'll come to you first on this one.
I don't know. I'm a little conflicted on this one because it does feel like as of recent, M has not been as invested. Mm-hmm. But it's like any other gig or, career. When you've been in it for a long time, you kind of step back a little bit more. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have much to say about it. Let's see, I guess. But
I got something to follow it up, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let Baylor go ahead first, and I'll say it. Baylor, what do you think?
It doesn't make sense because he knows how important his influence is, mm-hmm. and especially with the hottest cats and like these cats they nice. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, but the thing is, you can hear it coming out of them. Like it's like they still fighting to be appreciated. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Even after the nominee, it's like they still fighting to be appreciated. And he know how important that is. He does. You don't hop on Big Sean's album just because. Like you knew how important that was to him.
Yeah.
In that cipher.
Yeah, for sure. I want to offer a counter. Let me first say I agree with both of you guys, but let me offer a counterpoint to this. And this is just as someone who's a huge Eminem fan. So Eminem's influence and him being too hands-on was almost the downfall of Slaughterhouse because they tried to sound too commercial, and that was almost laid at the feet of M and his people being too hands-on. Griselda's album, people applauded because they stayed gritty. They didn't seem like they were trying to chase commercial success. We said it, I think, here when we reviewed the album. So maybe M's staying hands off for Griselda, maybe it's because he knows for their fan base and the people who likes their music, there's nothing he can do.
But are they asking him to have his hands in it or just support it?
True. You got a point there.
Bro, look, sometimes they put the wrong superstars in the right moment. Like it's a retweet. It's making a video with their music in the background. Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that. If Eminem put a video out on Twitter right now of him cooking and playing one of their albums, we're going to watch that video. In today's world, in the media, that's important. That's how you get followers. That's how you get attention.
True. But has M ever understood that in social media?
I don't see how you can't understand that. When his content that he was putting out early on was to grab our attention by doing random shit.
True, but not by social media though.
I was just gonna say that.
I get that, but you're trying to dumb him down by not knowing how the media works these days. I don't think he's that dumb.
I would say even by the way that he does his own music, I don't think that he and that's not to say that a simple retweet, like a retweet, clearly he knows how to retweet. If he did it for Alchemist's album, he can do it for West Side Gun and Griselda, which they needed and they deserve it. I don't know anybody who's checking for a fucking Alchemist album in 2020, but Griselda was the fucking toast of hip hop for shit almost to this point still. My thing is I truly don't think that a lot of people in M's era really understand the power that social media has nowadays. Some of them do. Some of them have been able to grow with that. But there's a lot of people who don't. Fucking Jadakiss doesn't understand the fucking power of social media, but he doesn't fucking need it.
Jadakiss has been on social media all year.
This year. Because he dropped an album.
But he got it, though.
I get what you're saying. Mary, what do you think? Split the difference.
I mean, one would think, though, also that someone of Eminem's stature would hire a social media team for his artists, and someone to run his social media accounts and stuff. So I do agree with you. I do feel like his age range, definitely social media is not top of mind, and, they're not necessarily running to even for me, right? And I'm a decade behind him easily or more. Someone who's a decade under me is more likely to show love on social media just off the strength, whereas I don't even think about that. It's more, you know what I'm saying? People will ask me oh, can you repost this or retweet me or blah blah blah, and it's you ask people to do that? I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? And then I've even noticed it with other things that I've done. There are some people, and they're usually on the younger end, that just off rip, if they see I post something that's announcing something I'm doing, they show love and at least repost it or something. Yeah. So I do think there is a generational gap there, but I also think that M should definitely have a team that's handling that. So I'm in the middle of both of you. He himself may not know, but come on.
I'll put it to you like this. If he's not media-wise or if he's not up to date, if he has any freestyle or any new album that comes out, I shouldn't hear any up-to-date content at all.
That's not true, bro. That's not true.
Very true.
You can stay up to date without being on social media.
Anything else? That's what you mean?
Say that again.
Do you mean if something from one of his artists drops, then he shouldn't be posting anything else outside of that?
No, what I mean is if he comes out with any new content, if he's not knowledgeable of what's going on in the media nowadays or how the media works, then I shouldn't hear it in his music.
Bro, but see, I think you're making a leap because you can know what's going on in the media without social. We are so tapped in, and we do use social media to get our news. But you can stay up to date with news and what's going on in the world without social media. It is possible.
That's possible, but how do you stay up to date and not know how important it is?
But you can know how important it is, but just not care. Nobody's saying. I'm saying that.
So then that means he doesn't care about his artist.
No, that doesn't mean that he doesn't care about his artist. He may not understand because you got to think people like Jay-Z tweets 3 times a year. They don't guess how important
that was to Fabulous.
True, but it still doesn't mean. But the difference is, and Jay-Z is a better record label runner than Eminem by far. But what I mean by that is just because you understand how social media works, just because you care about your artists, it may not even, Mary just said it may not even register to you how much to this newer generation they only get stuff that's on social media because our generation didn't need that. So he may know how the world works, but to him it doesn't even come to mind. It doesn't come to mind to say, oh, let me make sure I retweet this, because to him it's like, well, hell, we got a marketing team, you got PR, you go do your interviews on Complex. That's what they did in their generation to get their music out.
So you don't think at no point in his mind by him doing a solid for another artist or another brand and not to do it for your same artist?
But we're going off one thing with Alchemist. We'd have to go back and research how much Eminem actually retweets any fucking art. For all we know, Alchemist could have texted him and be like, hey, bro, can you retweet this for me?
Yeah, I was just going to say we'd have to do a social media analysis of M's page to really have this debate right now. And even then, yes, we wouldn't know the variables on the back end that led to it.
And just to nail this all home, let's go back to his beef with MGK, right? Part of the reason why that blew up the way that it did is MGK making fun of him on social media, the memes, everything else. M put out his response disc, did an interview with Sway, and that was it. That was it.
But that's him playing a role. We know he likes to pop up and disappear.
No, I'm just looking at the way that he in that and you said it to your point. M's whole thing back in the day was him doing tactics on MTV when he did his interviews, whatever. When you're in a space of actually, even with the Nick Cannon thing, Nick Cannon was dropping videos on him. M had an interview. He says his little comments for it, threw some bars in there, and kept it moving. M does not utilize social media a lot of the way that artists do nowadays. He just doesn't.
Yeah.
Tell me this. Do you think he's still friends with 50?
Yeah, they just with 50's birthday party, M was there.
Then M, if you're hearing this, and I know you are listening, please go take some tips from 50, because he obviously got it. He obviously understands. You know what I mean?
I actually was just gonna say 50 might be the only person of that generation that I actually see fighting on social media and, like properly.
And 50 did. Remember when 50 had thisis50.com and he had Pimpin' Curly when he was making fun of Rick Ross? Like, and that was before social media was huge. 50 was a way ahead of his time with that shit. So there you go. I can't believe we just got in a whole discussion about Eminem.
Oh, we just did that. Hey, we just did. I was like, yo, this shit getting heated. I kind of like it, though. You know what I mean?
It's been a minute since we had like something that really got us stirred up like that. So, hey, more power to
you. I roll with him. I roll with him. But that right there, I'm like,
I'm not excusing it at all, because like, I'm just saying that I was trying to play devil's advocate and give it like, maybe he just doesn't understand. But at the end of the day, like, something needs to be done to market your artist. And Griselda, if it wasn't for Griselda's already built-in buzz, I don't see what benefit they have being signed to Shady. I just don't personally. So that's an issue. But let's go ahead. We're going to get to our first break. When we come back, we got verses on deck and a surprise album. I don't know if anybody else got a chance to listen to it, but I got hot takes. We'll be right back after this.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.